Alright, what's up out there, everybody? As you can see, we got the trailer all painted up. Thanks for all the comments and suggestions on the last video I made with the different suggestions on what I should use. And pretty much I had every possible opinion. Some people said, hey, do this. Other people said, no, don't do that. And at the end of the day, you kind of just got to make your own decision. And I kind of already had my mind made up what I wanted to do, but I just wanted to get some ideas and see if there was anything I'd not thought of, and I should consider. So, man, what a week. I worked on this at night and after work, pretty much throughout the week, every night. And it was so hot. It was 105 degrees, and gives me a good perspective about what all you guys normally working out there. Normally, you can see the air conditioner over there and the fan. I got a couple other fans, and I can get it between 75 and 80 degrees in here with the garage door closed, and can do pretty much whatever I want. And it's pretty comfortable working that way, even when it's 100 degrees outside. But because of this trailer so big, the tongue sticks out from underneath the garage door. So obviously I can't shut the door and turn the air on because the air just escaped. So anyway, it was very, very hot. Ran into a problem with the bed liner. This shuts gun. I don't know what the deal was. For some reason, when I opened this up out of the package, I thought this tube was supposed to go on the end of the gun, and I don't know why I was thinking that, but it didn't fit in here, and so I was like, well, that's odd. So I had an adapter, and I was able to get it to fit. But even after I changed it around, and even with the product reduced down 10%, it still would just not spray out of this gun at all. It started spraying out in the beginning a little bit, but then it just, I don't know if it got clogged up or what. But anyway, I was in a big panic because I had mixed up 2 bottles of the Raptor Liner, and that stuff has a 1 hour pot life at 70 degrees, and so at 100 degrees it's probably got 40 minutes or maybe even less. So I quickly sat it inside so that it would be in a cooler temperature, and then started scrambling around, changing the tip on my other gun, and it had already been, it takes several minutes to get those things mixed up. It's so thick in that container, so I'd probably already wasted 5 or 10 minutes mixing them up and shaking them up. And then so I didn't want to lose those 2 bottles, so I quickly got my other gun up and going, and was able to get it sprayed before it sat up, and I ended up doing 2 coats on it. And so anyway, so just the next, obviously the rest of this video is going to be showing you the process I went through. It's just a huge trailer. It's a 20-foot deck on it, and a lot of work trying to prep that diamond plate deck, because you can't just take a DA and sand over it, because it's not flat. If you do that, you only catch the tops of the diamonds, which I did do that. But then how do you prepare and properly scuff or put a good tooth in the valley parts of the deck? And I used a number of different things to try to do that and try to get as much tooth in about it as I could. But the biggest thing I did was just try to get it super clean at the very end. And I probably cleaned it about, at least went over it about 5 times with various alcohol, wax and grease remover, what else? Glass cleaner, and so I tried to get it as clean as I could. But anyway, so here's the rest of the video. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put a list of the materials and the costs that I ended up using and how much it actually took of it. I kind of didn't use near as much material as I thought it would. I thought it would take a gallon of base and a gallon of clear and a gallon of primer to do this whole trailer, but it ended up taking about half that. So the cost of it really wasn't too bad. It's between $250 and $300 in total materials, using some fairly decent products, good enough for a trailer anyway. So anyway, I'll stop rambling now. Here's the rest of the video. Thanks everybody. I really appreciate the suggestions and comments on the other video, and thanks for watching this one. All right, got this little project we're going to take on since we don't have the Mustang in here. Still waiting for the trim shop to get the windows and glass put back in there. yeah, anyway, that's a different story. Hopefully we'll have that back here at the end of this week. But I bought this trailer new about 6 years ago. It's really a well-built trailer, seems to be. Not had any really issues with it at all, except for, you can see it's in pretty rough shape. I started doing a little sanding on it right there. You know, where the fenders are kind of beat up and where the paint's flaked off, it's obviously started to rust, and the deck is, you know, where the paint's rubbed off of, it's been starting to rust a little bit too, and it just sits out in the sun all the time at a friend's house out in the country. All right, so we went over that center panel right there with a big wire wheel on a buffer polisher, and then it came back with a rust converter. So you see, you know, this has all been converted and ground down. This hasn't. So I think it's going to work out all right doing that. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to get the scale and give it some roughness and get the rust under control to an extent, and I think it'll be ready for some bed liner. And the sides here are pretty flat, pretty easy to work with a DA, so I'm going to get those, you know, go over all that with a DA. And so we keep making progress. Well, this is going to be a scuff and shoot, but it's not quite working out that way. See that inside of that fender over there, at least a little scratch and stuff, you know, took it to bare metal, and there was no primer on that part. That's when it was flaking off so bad. You can see, you know, coming off in sheets. So we took the whole thing down to bare metal, just hit it with a DA 40 grit on there, and it mostly just peeled off. So we'll rust convert that and you know, get it ready for some primer. Same with the top. It had primer up here, but there were some places that had a lot of areas where it had gotten scratched and stuff and flaked off. And it was just starting to pit in a few areas, so you know, it's a good thing we're doing this another couple of years out in the sun, and it'll be rusting up good for sure. So anyway, that's where we are. Yeah, that's that. We'll keep making progress and show you what we got. All right, using that jack to move the trailer around, position around. It's pretty dang heavy. Getting it all prepped up here, getting it sanded and scuffed. This diamond plate stuff here is really proven difficult to prep because, you know, the tops of the diamonds are, you know, what catches the DA, and anything else you want to sand it with. Down inside the flat areas is difficult. So as you saw there, we went over all of it with a wire brush. Hopefully I know the wire brush on metal basically smooths it out, and you really don't want that, but wire brush on the existing paint, you know, cuts a little bit of tooth into it. So doing that, going over it with sandpaper, and I'm going to hit it eventually with a Scotch-Brite at the very end. Hopefully that'll give it enough tooth on the paint that's down in there to, you know, cause it to stick. So just a big job, man. I never would have guessed just how much work sanding and scuffing and prepping this thing would be. It's just a big undertaking, a lot more than I thought it would be. And so I don't know if I got this feathered back enough, if epoxy's going to seal all that, or if it's going to map through it. Don't really care. I'm going to buy some diamond plate chrome and just cover this whole area because it's got a lot of dents and stuff in it. And it's going to be base coat, clear coat, and it's going to get dented up again anyway if I don't cover it with something. So I'm going to get some diamond plate, chrome diamond plate, and rivet it down to that on top of the paint once I get it painted. So got it all pretty much ready to start spraying. Most of the rust removed. This back section back here is what I've got to finish up around here and around the side. So just a quick update on the progress, and we'll come back and show you when we get ready to get the primer going down on it. All right, well, I didn't show this before I started, but anyway, we got a coat of epoxy primer on there, and got a lot of striping and streaking, and, you know, I went real heavy in some areas and not as heavy in others, but the good news is all this will be covered up with the bed liner, and you know, we're just trying to put a semi-show quality paint job on this. So got all the bare metal spots and the prepped coat of whatever was on this before, covered up with epoxy now, and so we can get ready and spray some base coat. It sure was nice to be able to take that Finish Line 3 gun, open the spray pattern most of the way up, open the fluid all the way up, and just let her rip, holding it about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches away, and just hammering it on there, about a 50% overlap. You can see it's got a little bit of streaking in it. You can see where my gun, you know, went there, and then I went and did over there, and then I forgot this part and went over there, and then came back and did this. So it, you know, it is hot. It's 100 degrees out here, and I'm not used to painting with in the 100-degree weather. Normally, we've got the doors closed and the air conditioning on, and got it about, you know, 80 degrees in here at the hottest. So sweat dripping on stuff, and you know, making a mess. And you can see here the mapping from the previous coat. But again, I should have just removed all that paint. I don't know why I didn't do that. I did it on that side, but it's not a big deal. We're going to cover all this up. It's got dents and everything in it, as you can see down through there. We're just wanting to get some coatings on there and some UV protection. All right, we'll spray the base and clear on all the fenders and the trim all the way around, you know, the outside, and then we'll mask all that off, and then we'll put the truck bed liner on the deck. All right, we got 2 coats of base on there, or 2.5, I guess. And this is what it came out to be, kind of a pewter goldish color. It was about half silver and a quart of gold and a quart of the metallic that was the charcoal that was left over from the roof of Matt's car. So it's interesting that 1 quart of gold really had that much influence on the rest of it, but it did. It kind of dominated all of it. But anyway, that's what it is, and it's got paint on it now. We're going to throw some clear on it, and then we'll do truck bed liner on the deck, as I said. All right, here we go. All right, you see the sun coming over the shadow of the house there. I was really wanting to get this done. I was chasing it to get it done before the sun actually gets out here on this trailer, and I just did get it done. 2 coats of clear on top of the base, and got it all finished up. Out in the sun, the color doesn't look too bad. It's got some gold to it, that's for sure. Greenish, olivish gold. Got some metal flake in it there. That's cool though. Whatever. Believe it or not, there's only 1 speck of dust right here on the whole trailer, and there's only 1 little bitty run right down here that you barely can't even see. Other than that, the whole trailer doesn't have 1 speck of dust or any runs or any imperfections in it everywhere. It's absolutely perfect. Yeah. It does have a couple of runs in it. There's a little one right there, and there was one over here. I heard VW Darren say on a video one time, you know, if you catch a run down low in a panel, you can just run it right off the panel, and I tried to do that right here. There was a run, and I don't think I caught it in time. I came back around and saw it. I tried to run it off of there, but it didn't run, so I'll just come back and cut those off, sand them off, whatever, when it's done. Little spot right there where I leaned into it. Other than that, it looks pretty good. 2 coats of clear, and I used just some $80 shop line 4-to-1 clear. Got a big mess over here for sure. And I used the Technic gun that worked out pretty well. Last time I used it, it had some issues. It was kind of sputtered a little bit, but must have had something in it. I got it cleaned out good. It sprayed really, really good. So we'll let this set up overnight, and we're going to come back and do the truck bed liner. I went ahead and sprayed the clear further out than where I left the base, because if you leave the base exposed kind of under the clear, it'll get up under the edge and try to lift it. It may try to do that anyway, because this Raptor stuff is it's your thing. So anyway, we'll see what happens and go from there. All right, so yesterday we got it all painted up with the base coat and clear coat, and today we got it masked off and ready to spray the truck bed liner. It's inside the recoat window on both the clear and the primer, But we went ahead and scuffed it all back up again with just a red scuff pad, and then cleaned it off with some wax and grease remover. So as you can see, sun creeping in right there. So running a little bit behind, but anyway, we'll get on this and see if we can get it lined up. This is what we're using. I know I put the video up asking for people's opinions, and some people said yes, do it. Some people said no, don't do it. Some people said use industrial paint. So some people said use 415. So this is what we're going to use. I'm going to do a little recap at the end showing just the cost of the materials because I ended up using not near as much of the material as I thought. And the reason I did this two-tone thing here was this is supposed to cover 110 square feet, and this is exactly 110, or actually it's 120. So also we're going to reduce it a little bit. It says you can reduce it 10% and get it to the texture to be a little smoother, which is, you know, kind of what we want. So. All right, we're going to set the camera up, and there's the compressor. Okay, we're going to get it spraying now. All right, well, I don't know if you could tell in the video, but I started spraying there and up here in this corner and got a little bit of it sprayed, and then the gun just started spitting and sputtering, and really nothing would come out of it. So I couldn't get it to spray. I don't know what the deal is. If I've got something hooked up wrong with it, or I mean, I don't think there's much you can really do. But anyway, so I went ahead and got the finish line out with a 2.2 tip and reduced it down a lot, like 20%. And it's been flashing off for about an hour now. Hopefully I can get back on it. Yeah, it's dry to the touch. And so it obviously there's almost no texture with it reduced out that much. I'm going to try to, or I might have even done like 30%. I'm going to try to do a little less in it so I get a little bit of texture to it. You know, because it needs a little grit to it. So anyway. I'm going to spray one more coat, so we'll come back and hook the gun up. This stuff is just really, really difficult to mix. This is what I had left over out of the last batch, and it says a 1 hour pot life, and it's been a little bit over an hour, so you can see it's skimmed over there. So I'm not going to mess with that. I got 2 bottles left, and that should be enough for one more coat. Obviously, I used 2 bottles on the first time, but I had it way over reduced, so I'm going to go a little slower this time. And anyway, I'll stop talking and get spraying. Alright, just pulled the masking off of it. So, got a little 3-inch strip down there of the paint, and everything else is coat bed liner. It looks pretty good, you know. It's got a little bit of texture to it, but it's got some striping and stuff in it. Stuff's kind of hard to spray out of a regular gun.
You almost have to like do 95% overlap to get it to look like anything. So anyway, I know it's a long video, not much action, but a lot of talking. I never did figure out the shuts gun. I did figure out I had the stem that's supposed to go down in the canister. I didn't have it in the canister. I had it on front of the gun, and so even when I put it in the canister, though, it still didn't spray anything out of it. So I don't know what's up with that, but anyway, looks a lot better. Should last a while, and hopefully some of that striping that's in there will come out. I'm sure it'll all get all faded out pretty soon and won't be any kind of problem anyway. So put the lights back in it and get it all set up and ready to go get the Mustang. All right, got two more projects before we finish wrap up this trailer. We got this 1/8" diamond plate that we're going to make some covers to go on top of the fenders to give those some extra protection and basically cover up all these dents and stuff that I chose not to fill. Because it's just going to get dented up. You can see there's a big crease in it right there and a couple of big dents in it. They just take a lot of abuse, people walking up on them and or me or whoever. And I keep this stored at a friend's house, and in exchange for me storing it there, he uses it quite a bit. And anyway, you can see some of the striping and modeling that was in the deck earlier has kind of come out of it. It's flashed off. It's got a little bit in it, but all in all, it looks pretty good. So anyway, we're going to get this cut. And goodness gracious, man, I bought this at Lowe's. It's 1/8" thick diamond plate aluminum with I guess it's kind of got a polished front to it there. $78 for a 24 by 48 sheet. Goodness. But it's Sunday, and I wanted to get it done today, and I know I could go to metal supermarkets or, places like that and probably get it for about half that. But anyway, all right, we're going to go and get this cut up and get it on. All right, we need this to be 7 3/4 inches wide. So we have to measure over a little bit extra to allow for the distance between the blade and the guide there. So we're going to make a couple of cuts and we'll get ready to mount them on there. Well, it didn't work too well with the jigsaw. It really just, this aluminum just quickly gummed up the blade. I probably had too fine of a blade on it. And it was making a mess out of it. The angle iron I had was too thin. I needed a big thick piece of angle iron, and I didn't have one. So it was just allowing it to bow and flex. Anyway, so I used the angle grinder and got it pretty straight with that. So we're just going to pop rivet it in place, and you can see we got some little Sharpie marks all the way down. I'm going to show this real quick. A long time ago, I bought this automatic center punch from Harbor Freight for about $5. It doesn't work very well. Half the time the spring doesn't engage on it. So Matt picked this up. I think this is really the first tool he's bought, and said, "Hey Dad, I picked up something for the garage for the toolbox." So he got this off the Mac Tools truck. I think he paid like $18 for it. But as you can see, it's a lot thicker and bigger and heavier duty, and it works very well. All right, we'll get those holes drilled and get them mounted up. All right, I had to go to Lowe's, and all I had was 1/8" rivets in steel, so I went and got some 3/16 aluminum ones. Don't want them rusting, and needed something a little stronger, so got those. Got all the holes drilled. I tried to keep the holes in a symmetrical line, evenly spaced, but had some difficulty doing that because of the diamonds themselves. They're always right in the way, right in the line. So anyway, got the rivet, gonna put it in, got a nice tight fit.
clean install. Got that one kind of hung up on the side of the diamond there a little bit, but it's not too bad. Get the rest of them put in and come back and show you what it looks like. All right, this is the only place I got to run on the whole thing here, and I created a lot of that on my own by trying to run it off the panel. And it actually might not have ever even been a run because there's a lot of areas where I didn't do a good job of feathering the old paint back. You know, like there's a rusted spot there. I sand it with a DA till it was down the metal, and then I didn't feather it back far enough, and it's just, I believe it's just an old paint edge right there, and I thought it was a run, and I went at it. But anyway, I wish I'd have put one more coat of clear on here. There really is a really thin coat on all this. I was trying my best not to run it. And so, anyway, it's no big deal. Hopefully it'll hold up like it is. If not, just scuffing these sides down and putting another coat of clear on. I think I got a lot of clear up on the top because I didn't worry about a run up there. And that's the important part, where the sun's going to hit it. So, anyway, we'll get these runs taken care of down here and block on that a little bit and do a little buffing on it and go from there. Alright, well, you can see we got it sanded down in 2000 grit there. See how much trash is in that. So the traction ribs coming through there. You can see them a little bit still as it's in a minute, but got the run and the sag out of it, so I can't believe I'm going to do this, but yep, I'm buffing on a trailer. All right, we'll hit it with the black pad, some black compound, and that'll be all we're going to do on this. All right, well, we got it all wrapped up now. Got that little spot down there buffed out, got the lights all back in it, cleaned up. So our diamond plate work that we did earlier, rivets in there. These fenders all had a little bit of a bow in them right there because they just stepped on and stuff, and so they're a little buckled up. But all in all, they fit on there pretty good. Look pretty good, and should give us some protection from the paint. So, all right, well, that's gonna wrap it up. A little bit of gold metal flake glistening there.